Bonnie Pritchard is a missionary of Immanuel Bible Church at the Central Union Rescue Mission.
Central Union Mission.
Central Union Mission, okay, in Washington, D.C. I've been into your classroom, beautiful classroom, and tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Okay, well, I'm blessed to be able to work in the education program and help serve the men at the mission in every kind of way educationally, from reading, writing, math, computer skills, job readiness training, you name it, basically. Anything except Bible teaching.
So the rescue mission, just describe for us, for people who don't know, what exactly the rescue mission is and what it does.
Well, we do a lot of different things. At the building that I'm at, which is the Gale School building, it's the men's shelter. It's the men's homeless shelter. And we provide services for men that are homeless or men that are needy. But we also have a variety of different outreach and other buildings that we provide services to, which you've probably seen David Treadwell talk about before too. Everything from our Food Plus Center, where we give away food, clothing, furniture, everything. I usually tell people everything, including the kitchen sink, because at times probably we do have kitchen sinks to give away. And then we have a large Hispanic ministry, family ministry, and our social work department, and David Treadwell's back there, and he's thinking she's forgetting one, two, let's see. We also have our Camp Bennett, which is in Maryland, and during the summer, that's for underprivileged children in the DC area. I
know from your classroom, next to your classroom, at least when I was there, next to your classroom, I think it was some medical offices and then a lawyer's office,
right?
To help people get their issues in their life taken care of.
Yeah.
You have students that are rotating in and out of your class. And what exactly do you teach there?
Yeah. So I have the worst possible nightmare for any teacher in this room, an open enrollment. So people are coming in any day, every day, all different levels. And somehow, this is how you know that God's doing all this, because I couldn't do this. Somehow it works. And only God could make that work. And one of the things we've been able to do, because we're a Christian organization, is use Christian books. So I use a book on forgiveness, a book on brokenness by Nancy Lee DeMoss, which many of you know here. And we can do reading, and I can do reading comprehension questions and help them in their reading skills through Christian books. So one of the other things that we do too is try to build the self-confidence, and most of the men that are in the mission have been beaten down. They've been told they're losers, they're drug addicts, they're felons, they're convicts, whatever. And so just to have them feel like they're loved, they're cared for, and we're on their side. I had one man years ago, we went around their room talking about somebody that they trusted, and he's like, I don't trust anybody. And, that's true for many of the men when they come in. And by the end of the program, at that time the program was a year long, he had to describe somebody else, and he said he's trustworthy. That was, of course, huge for him to be able to... Did
he realize what he was saying when he said it?
I talked to him later. I said, do you realize what you said? And he said, yeah, I do, yeah.
Now, I know some of the students refer to you as OG. Not as in OG, but as in...
Well, everybody here knows what OG is, right?
No, I don't think so. Nobody's willing to say it, though.
Well, I didn't either, but I used to work in the music business for many years, and I knew it had something to do with that, and I knew that probably the O, in my estimation, was probably going to be old something.
No,
that wasn't it, no. It means original gangster. And this is how God works together for good, all those who love him, and takes the parts of our past. One of the ways I've been able to relate to the men is I worked for a gangster rap label 25 years ago in the music business. My walk with the Lord was a lot different. I was not a gangster rapper. However,
I was about to say prove it.
Yeah. No. And I'm sure every one of you went and saw the movie Straight Outta Compton. But for those of you that didn't, There's a scene in that movie that I experienced, and I get to tell the men, I said, well, I was there when Ice Cube was trying to renegotiate his contract, and he broke the TV in the president's office, and I shared a wall with the president. And they're like, what? And then I kicked Suge Knight out of my office and lived to tell about it. Because I had no idea who Suge Knight was. And for those of you that don't know who he is, he's the gangster of all gangsters. So, yeah, but, you know, the great thing is that gives me a lot of street cred, basically, with the guys. And, you know, then they walk around and they joke, and it's like, did you know Miss Pritchard was a OG? So...
how can we pray for your work there and your ministry there?
Yeah, and before you pray, let me say one more thing. We have guys, when I was talking about some of the things that we do, that come in that can't read. They have high school diplomas and they can't read. And I have a huge, wonderful group of volunteers that help me, because I can't do it all. And so I have this wonderful group of volunteer tutors and teachers that teach everything from math tutoring and reading tutoring to GED classes, computer classes, communication classes, you name it. So if there's anybody out there that's interested, please come and see me, because we're always, you know, adding people, and it's just, you know, it's fascinating for me to watch them and see how they immediately get sucked in sort of to the mission. When you come there, it's like a mission gets in your blood, and you know, you don't want to leave, because it's more of a blessing for me to work with these men than it is for them to work with me, I think. So
yeah, and if you do want to volunteer at the Rescue Mission or be a mentor to some of these students, Bonnie is here every Sunday, most Sunday nights, and David and Charlotte Treadwell are at the table out in the atrium, and they always are able to facilitate people who want to volunteer there.
Yep, absolutely.
How can we pray for you in your ministry?
Pray for the men. Pray for transitions. When they come into the mission, that's a huge transition for them. You know, some of them aren't used to any structure at all, and now we give them structure. And, you know, there's walls that have to come down for them to be able to accept that structure. So praying for that. And then as they progress through and they go into different seasons, and when they graduate, they're really vulnerable at that point too, because they think, you know, I've finished, I've done it, and you know, so there's different seasons of praying for the men along the way, just for protection for them, for their families. They have all these issues in their lives, as we all do, but they have all these issues that are, you know, taking them away and sometimes going back to, you know, something old that they shouldn't, and others realizing, I've got to change my life. So when they go through our spiritual transformation program, usually they're transformed. But we have many men that come in and out of the mission as overnight guests that's not the case for. So prayers for the men, and then prayers for me for wisdom and discernment about, you know, I tweak the curriculum all the time, and so God always gives me new things to do, and just for wisdom to hear what he wants me to do next.